Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 13 of Power Reading the Bible in 90 days. And today's reading was from the book of Deuteronomy 1 to 11. So the first thing I saw or I caught was Moses actually pleading with God to allow him cross over. They were preparing, the children of Israel were preparing to cross the Jordan to go into the promised land. And Moses actually pleaded with God for God to allow him cross so that, yeah, even though, you said I wouldn't leave or enter or whatever, if maybe you could just do this one thing for me. And God was like, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I can allow you see it, but I won't allow you cross to enter. So God told him to go on the mountain of Pisgah and told him to stand and look from the south to the east, to the west, to the north, and to just survey what the promised land looked like, but that he would not allow him, cross into the land. And the insight here is that sometimes God's no, though final, is not because he is cruel, it's because his justice and his plans are always bigger than our personal, what should I call it now, desires. Yeah. So, of course, you may wonder that, oh, the same God who kept on forgiving the Israelites, forgiving them, could he not have, just forgiven Moses and allowed him enter? But many times, his no is not because it's not because he doesn't love us. It's actually because his bigger plan, the bigger picture is actually more than, our desires. And that is actually what I absolutely caught from all this. And I think we can apply this in our everyday life so that we know that just because God is telling us no, doesn't mean that he doesn't love us. And many times, even when he's telling us no, he will grant us a glimpse of what probably the outcome, that thing we're asking for, what it would look like. And I think that's what he did for Moses. Number two was, as we begin to read this beginning part of Deuteronomy, we would actually see that it is actually Moses recounting all that had happened. So Moses was basically telling the Israelites how they left from Egypt, how, everything that had happened, the battles they fought, the issues with the manna, the issues with the golden calf, how he went up the mountain, God gave him the 10 commandments, he came down, he saw what they were doing, he broke it, then God had to write another one. He literally, was recounting everything, more like him saying a verbal history breakdown of all that had happened. And this makes sense because this generation are not the generation that God punished, that they wouldn't see the promised land, right? So it makes sense that Moses is saying it again for those who didn't know. Do you get it? It does make sense for those who didn't know all what God had done. And I love that. So the third noteworthy thing is that or insight is Moses was doing a lot of call to obedience. So he was telling them, see, this land that God is taking us into, you need to obey him, do not stray from his commandments. He repeatedly was saying that you know what, God is calling you to obedience. These blessings that God is giving us is really just hinged on obedience. Do not break the covenant, to observe the Sabbath, do not worship any other God, do not worship idols, do not prostitute yourself with the people, destroy them totally, everything that God has told you to do, and all that. And obedience, he was trying to make them understand that obedience is not just about personal blessings, because if you look at it, it seems like if you obey me, you get this, you get this. But obedience really is not just about personal blessings. It's really more about covenant and testimony. And he tried to make them see that. The fourth noteworthy thing was he really tried to show them or speak a lot about, them loving God. Do you see? It's not just so you can obey someone because you feel you are going to get something from them. But if you are doing something for someone because you love them, then this is deeper. So Moses really centralized a lot, especially from Deuteronomy 6, 4 to 9, about the love for God. He instructed them to keep God's words in their hearts, to teach it to their children, to bind it in their hands, to wear it or put it in their doorposts and all that. Trying to tell them that true faith is holistic. It's not just for me. It's not just for just some things. It's holistic. It takes up your whole, it should take up your whole being. It should be in your family. It should be taught to your children. It should be passed down, to generation. It should be in such a way that both your family, your environment, yourself, everything that has to actually do with you, your lifestyle would actually experience it, and that it must be something that is lived daily and daily. The application of this is that passing our faith to the next generation has to be intentional. You don't just assume that your children will follow God because we follow God. So it has to be intentional. And Moses was trying to tell them, you have to teach it, put it in your heart, bind it, teach your children, bind it on your doorpost, put it everywhere. And that is actually the way you pass this thing to the next generation and make sure that, it doesn't die. And then the number 5 and the last is that he spoke a lot about them not forgetting. Do not forget. Do not beware of forgetfulness in prosperity. In this land that God has given you, do not forget what he has done for you. Do not forget all the battles he has won for you. Do not forget where you are coming from. And it is really God just telling them that, or always trying to make them understand that people do forget in prosperity. When the scripture says, when the Lord turned again the captivity of is it Zion or Jerusalem, they were like them that dreamed. Do you get? There is a level of prosperity and freedom that you get that just makes you forget and not to be able to relate to where you are coming from, and that is actually not a good thing. While the scripture says that as a blessing, like you will not believe or be able to relate to where you are now to where you are coming from, it actually does call us not to forget what God did. He doesn't want you to sit in that place of continuously remembering Egypt, but he wants you to remember what God did and the mighty way he worked to get you to where you are. And saying, do not forget. Prosperity has a way of blinding us and making us feel like we no more need God. There is a level of suffering that draws us close to God, that makes us go to him in prayer, in crying, in petition. And many times, prosperity tends to strip people of that, where they don't need, if they want food, they can eat it. If they want something, they can get it. They find that there is really nothing to go to God for. And that is a dangerous place to be. And Moses really emphasized on that. And that is the insight for day 13. Hope to see you in day 14. Bye.